If you want to start running, or maybe you're even training for your first race, your first marathon, or maybe even your first ultra, and you want a complete guide to running, well then this is the video for you, because I'm going to break down exactly everything that you need to know about running. And this is coming from someone who over the past 2 years has clocked a lot of mileage, has ran nearly 8 marathons before turning 19. Now I'm going to break down the exact information that you actually need to know to become a good runner and have a comprehensive understanding of running. Starting off is a pretty obvious one, and that is your training. When it comes to running, how often do you want to be training? Well, really, I would say the sweet spot for training is anywhere from 3 to 5 runs a week. It all depends if I've got a race on or not, but if you want to get better at running, the minimum 3 times a week. If you've got a race that you need to train for, probably 5 times a week is going to be best for you. And there's 3 types of runs you really need to focus on, and that's your long runs. These are the most important runs that you can have to build your endurance and get better at long distance running. And you've got tempo runs. This is where you run at a fast pace and you elevate your heart rate. And next is your easy runs. These are runs you do most often just to build your aerobic base, not putting too much strain on your body. And these are sort of filler runs for when you're not doing your tempo runs and your long runs. Because a common mistake people make when they start running, is like I've done it myself, is that you just sort of go out and you just hammer the run straight away and you just run as fast as you can on every single run. But it's not actually how you get better at running. You get better at running by incorporating different types of speed and intensity and effort into your actual training. So if that's something you're doing where you're just going out and running as fast as you can, stop doing it. It's not how you train. Next point I want to go on to is nutrition, and how carbs are now going to become your best friend for fueling your hard runs and your long runs especially, because your body needs carbs for energy. Before going on a long run, for example, you want to eat things that are quite calorific and high in carbs, high in fat and high in protein. A very common meal that I used to have myself personally was 6 eggs, 3 bits of sourdough toast, some fruit, some honey, load of salt on there, and that is great pre-long run fuel. And on the run, you want to be having quick release carbs. These are things like sweets, cereal bars, SIS energy gels if you haven't heard of them. These are little, like just carbohydrate gels that you can take on your runs, and you have them preferably towards the end of the run, like on the second half of the run, is probably how I should describe it. And then on the first half, you want to be having solid food. And also you want to practice eating, and I know it sounds weird, but before your runs, especially if you've got a race coming up, you want to practice what you're going to eat on the day, during and before the run. You don't want to be going into race day with anything new or trying anything new, because this is a big mistake. You want your body to get used to what you're eating, and you also want to find out what works best for you. Whereas, because a lot of runners, for example, have like oatmeal or porridge, as I would say in the UK, before going on runs. I've tried that myself, but I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. I find the best thing that's worked for me has been the eggs and the toast and the fruit. So again, it's just experimentation, but you need to practice what you eat. You need to eat carbs, and you need to learn what is best for you to eat before a run. And these points that I've got now are just extras that when it comes to running, little things that you need to understand and have when it comes to running. And this is a very important point, and it's follow a plan. Because when I started training, I never really followed a plan. I run wherever I want. When I first started following a plan, my progress I was quite deep into my running career at this point as well. But my running got so good when I started actually following a structured plan. I had clarity on what days I needed to train, how many miles I should be doing a week, and I got significantly better at running. And you should follow a plan, especially if you're a beginner, because that's when you're going to make the most progress. Compared to the people that aren't following a plan, you're just going to absolutely fly past them when it comes to running. The next point is get running shoes. I think they're not 100% necessary to start with if you've got some half decent trainers, but they do help a lot, especially if you're doing long runs. If you haven't got running trainers, I think long runs will be quite bad, and I've personally never been on a long run without running shoes, so I can't tell you how bad it is, but I can't imagine it being very nice considering long runs suck quite a bit anyway. Pick up some running shoes. They don't even have to be expensive. I remember my first pair was about £50. I got them from a Sports Direct or something, just some white Nike ones. But eventually you can get some good ones to start with if you see it as a long-term thing that you're doing, especially if you've got like a marathon, like a proper race. I'd get some decent shoes. You want to download Strava if you haven't already, because this is how you're going to track all your runs and your mileage. If you haven't got a watch, Strava's completely free. Go out, you press record on your run, you run, it tracks the distance, it tracks the speed, it tracks the pace, it counts down the time as well. Foot strike, you don't want to be landing, so this is the front of your foot, this is the back of your foot. You don't want to be landing like that. You want to be landing from a midfoot to a front foot strike, really. I land on my midfoot. If you land on your back foot, you're not going to have that spring, and you're also going to be wasting a lot of energy that's just unnecessary. Midfoot strike really is a very common thing. I don't really think about it anymore, and you might not think about it on the run. Just try and think about it and make sure you're not landing on the back of your foot. And then my last point is that it gets significantly better than the first 2 weeks of running. There is nothing worse than that first 2 weeks of running. I remember it because of times when I've had long periods of time off from running, then you come back to it, you're so unfit, You feel like you're going to die when you're running, but it gets a lot better than that, trust me. Just get through that first 2 weeks and running actually can become very enjoyable. I have a marathon today. I actually don't know why I didn't mention that at the start. I've got a marathon. I'm currently in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. I don't know why it took me a second to think where I'm in Cambodia. It's very hot. I've got a marathon, doing it in the evening. It's going to be my 4th in Southeast Asia. But apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some value from it. You now have the complete, comprehensive understanding of what you need to know to become a runner. It's not hard, it's not confusing. You just need to focus on the foundations, which I've laid out in this video. But apart from that, you can check out my one-to-one online fitness coaching links in the description if you want to get in the best shape of your life and become the healthiest version of yourself. But I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.